I'm thrilled to welcome back our guest, Jen Schroeder. She's founded the Unobsolete, where she fights age bias in the workplace and builds exit strategies for professionals over 45. And you know what? This is when the ground is moving under a lot of people. Jen, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you, Patty?
I'm doing all right. I thought about you, not just in regards to this upcoming conversation we're going to have, but I saw somebody who I've known for a while start their own business on LinkedIn. I was really excited for her. She's in her 40s, and she just became like an independent policy consultant. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds amazing,
Yeah.
right? Are you finding a lot
Yeah.
more people who are like, you know what? I have this experience, I have this wisdom, and now I know how to put it to work for people other than a toxic workplace, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best way to go because you control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's scary for folks. What are some of the things you can tell people about what that world is like, how to get started in being an independent contractor or starting your own business?
I think starting small is the best way to go. I started really small when I did it. I started with creating courses, and I just wanted to pay for my kids' lunch at the time, and when they were in school. So I think starting small is the best way to go. Having a good runway built up, and having a plan for an exit strategy. So something like 6 months. You know you're going to leave, so get your ducks in a row before you go and get started.
But again, I think like people think they have to have so many elements in place. Like I've got to have a certain number of followers. I've got to have the perfect LinkedIn page. I have to have a website, right?
Yeah, no, everybody does, and perfection is the thing that stops everyone from starting, I think. And for me, I think I'm a perfect example of just put your 1 foot forward, take one step every day, and don't worry about the perfection because you're never going to get started if you keep overthinking it. So just start. The first thing to do is just take that first step, and then the next one will follow.
Yeah, I mean,
You'll be fine.
it's daunting. I know. I say, and here's the thing, because no matter what age you are, whatever you're in feels permanent, doesn't it? Whether it's
It does.
right.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
brain
it
tricks
feels
us.
permanent. Yep, it does. And you just feel like you just can't make a change. You're stuck, and that's where you're going to be. And that's just us giving in to that thought process. And you just have to change your mindset and just change your thoughts.
What are you
Yeah.
hearing about? Like, is there a wave of layoffs that you're hearing about? Because I mean, it seems like there is a lot of change going on in the labor force right now.
Yeah, layoffs are, yeah, they're tricky these days. So they're trying to avoid, in many cases, they're trying to avoid the big layoffs where they have to do the WARN Act and stick with all the things that you have to do with the sizable layoffs. So what they do is they just do these rolling layoffs now, where they don't have to meet all those rules and things. But there are a lot of layoffs, and then there are a lot of pushouts as well that are just happening with the older workforce, and the younger workforce too. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, there's a lot going on out there.
Well, with everybody, isn't AI like the new alibi that we're restructuring for AI? And is that real transformation, or how much is legally a safer way of saying we could do without you?
Yeah, I think AI is being used in many cases. AI is being used as an excuse to lay people off because the truth is, as you get older, you get more expensive. So they're the first people to go. So anyone, that starts pushing the limit over 45 and being more expensive, they want, and they're having a difficult year, or, numbers are down or whatever, you're going to be the first people to go. So instead of saying, oh gosh, this is just problems with our company, they like to blame AI and say, well, we're going to just, AI is changing everything. And AI is changing everything, but it isn't changing necessarily that one thing. So it is an excuse in many cases.
And I think people are really afraid of it too. I mean, are you talking to folks about learning AI? Because I kind of feel like our generation has this unique position because young people are very worried about it, see it very negatively, and I kind of feel like for us that we've accumulated so much information and experience. For me, it kind of helps me organize a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you can look at AI as an employee if you want to within your
Yes,
business.
my assistant.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, exactly. And even in my own, I couldn't move and help as many people as I do today if I didn't have the assistance of AI. So you have to learn how to leverage that for your particular business. And I think the people that will move further down the road faster, especially if they're looking to do their own thing after corporate, will, if they use AI properly or in a way that makes sense for their business, they'll move a lot faster and be more successful.
Yeah, for folks who worry about it, I do think that there's a way to disclose. Like I just said, I use AI as an employee. I use it to process things, to get through a lot of material that it might otherwise take me. I wouldn't get through the day, honestly, at this point with the number of things that I'm doing. Right.
Right. Oh, I couldn't either. I help a lot of people every day with a lot of calls and individual one-on-ones that I have to use my judgment on those calls, but I have to get a summary quickly of what's happening. And I couldn't do that without the assistance of AI. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just figuring that out, how you can use it for yourself.
I'm going to open the phone lines if you don't mind. If anybody has any questions for you, I'd love for them to join us because I know that you help folks. I want everyone to check out the website, theunobsolete.com. That's theunobsolete.com. And again, Jen Schroeder is a workplace advocate for professionals over 45 years and the founder of the Unobsolete. 773-763-9278 if you want to call in or text a question. If you maybe want to find out how she can help you, you can do that right now and then you get a taste of what what you can do to get some guidance. Because I think that one of the biggest things I have to imagine is healthcare. People don't want to leave.
Yes.
We're kind of we're enslaved sometimes, and I hate to say it that way, maybe, but we're held down by the fact that we can't leave a job because we have healthcare there.
Yeah, healthcare's a huge one, and healthcare's a big one in severance negotiations. A lot of people are married to the number, right? And you want that number because you see that, but the long-term effects of not having your healthcare are much almost more important than the number in many cases. So yes, there are things you can do to help yourself with that, though. If you're going down to a $0, if you're going from being the only breadwinner in the family to $0, you can potentially take the money from your severance and healthcare, and you go to healthcare.gov and get a better package.
What about, do you give guidance on like, investing in your own HSA? Because I didn't know until I no longer had that opportunity to just start my own HSA with Fidelity, for example.
Yeah, all those things. I don't think that HR departments are very good at explaining those, and I think that's not their fault in particular when the benefits people come around to do that. I think it's a very complicated, and we made it even more complicated within our country. So I think that's something that people don't necessarily have the knowledge on. So yes, I do talk about that a lot with people when the opportunity comes up.
And you mentioned in your severance, is there a single clause that people maybe sign without reading them that costs them?
Yes, there are a couple things. So the non-disparagement clause is usually when you get a blanket severance. So when they hand you your first package or the first document, it's usually a non-disparagement clause saying you can't say anything negative about the company, but the company can do whatever they want to you, basically negatively. And so that's one. The reference is another one. And then the rehire is probably the biggest one. So you want to make sure that you're always eligible for rehire and not, that severance negotiation, depending on how it came about, that's something that you want to negotiate. So the terms are that you were, because when employers call to check, they will check to see, usually it's going to be the dates of employment and things of that nature. It's going to be pretty small, but they'll also check to see if you're eligible for rehire. So that's very important to have in that negotiated package as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't been in a situation where I've had to sign any severance packages. Do they give you like this whole packet and expect you to like just sit there and read it there and sign it there? Or are you sent home with the severance package? How does that work?
Most of the time they'll send you home with it. Sometimes they'll pressure you to sign it in the room, but those are some, nowadays they give you, if you're over 40, you get 21 days to sign. So the OWBPA, the Older Workers Benefit Protection Act, will gives you, under that law, you have 21 days to sign, and then from the date you sign, you have 7 days to revoke. So they have to give you that time frame. And but if you're under 40, they don't have to give you that time frame. And asking for a week is not unusual. It's not unreasonable to ask for, but a lot of people will just be pressured to sign in the room if you're oftentimes, and you don't want to do that because it's a very emotional situation. You need time to read it and think about it.
Should you also consider hiring a lawyer?
Yes, in many cases, you can have. The problem with hiring a lawyer in many cases is the fees that are associated with it. But if it's a complicated severance or there's potentially something that you feel like you might have a case on, a protected class violation, or an FMLA retaliation situation, then yeah, you should always consult an attorney in those situations, definitely, because they can get you a better package in some cases, and you may, find that you might have a case that you may want to pursue.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss anything in that severance package either, or misunderstand something. Make sure that you got someone who's going over it, right?
Yes, yes, you want to make sure that you definitely have somebody that they can review it and understand it for you and find the gotchas.
What do you want people to know about the hiring bias? Because the EEOC's data shows that older workers make up under 5% of new hires at most establishments. And so if the resume is the filter, like how do you tell, what do you tell people to do in those instances?
There's two schools of thought on that. I don't think that I'm probably more on the side of the normal one, which is nowadays they want you to shorten your resume and take a lot of your age, things that would age you on that resume out. I don't subscribe to that theory. I think if you earn that knowledge, you should be able to keep it on your resume. You just have to be succinct in the discussion of what you did, because you've done a lot of things in 20, 30 years. And I think resumes, when we were from our generation, I think that most people want to we write our resumes different than they want them to now. They want to see very results-driven resumes. So they want to see what results you drove in that case. So you want to write your resume more results-driven rather than a story.
What do you want to leave people with, like, about the work that you do, and so how they get some help with you, consulting, some path forward in all of this madness?
Yeah. So if you're having trouble at work, or you're having, it could be a toxic work situation, it could be a harassment situation, it could be severance, performance improvement plans and things of that nature, you can always schedule calls with me. I do consulting on that, and I have several different packages that I'll out there to work with people and customize to their unique situation, because no two situations are exactly the same. So they can schedule that with me if they want to, and all that's on the website.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much, Jen Schroeder, the unobsolete.com. She's a workplace advocate for professionals over 45 years old, and again, founder of the Unobsolete, and she fights age bias and builds exit strategies. Thank you so much for the work that you do. It's great to see you again, and I hope that you get to enjoy the rest of your summer. I don't know what the weather's like. I know you're in the South, right?
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah,
it's hot.
Well, stay hydrated, my friend. I appreciate it. Oh, wait, hold on a second. How meta? Hold on a second. I've got a question from somebody. Hey, Jim, you're on the line with Jen. Did you want to talk to Jen, Jim?
Yes, I did. I just wanted to say they've got a lawsuit in California, $1 trillion plus, Meta, accusing them of brain damage and addiction to children. And then when you piggyback this on AI, which for my money, we're an environmental disaster all over the planet. What is what's the end game here with AI? I mean, are they going to piggyback? Is this going to be like the same kind of thing in addiction and brain damage? Is that what we're looking at here, an environmental disaster? Because these plants are environmental disasters, as far as I can tell. They're burning fossil fuels. Musk is burning fossil fuels in his two plants in Missouri.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're at, but
hold on a second. Go ahead, Jen.
I would say that as far as AI goes, it's still evolving and it's still in its youth. It is something to be concerned about, definitely. I don't think it's a particularly a brain damage situation. I think there will always be people that are addicted to certain things, and AI will be there will also be people that are addicted to AI. There are today. So parameters and policies and things still need to be put in place. It's in its infancy, and I think that at this time is the time to put that governance around it. So it's still to be determined, unfortunately.
I hear some degrees in psychology with AI focus would be probably a good path for those who are looking for a new career. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Again. Appreciate it, Jen Schroeder. Great to talk to you, and look forward to seeing you again. Take care of yourself. And folks, you can also follow Jen on social media. Find her on Instagram. That's where I found you. TikTok, all the places. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.